Today's episode is about one of the most elegant and painful paradoxes in long-term love. Love wants closeness. Desire needs space. Love says, "Come close to me." Desire says, "Let me see you from a little farther away." Love wants safety, routine, predictability, and belonging. Desire often needs mystery, playfulness, curiosity, and the sense that the other person is still not fully known. Love wants to hold. Desire wants to reach. Love says, "You are mine." Desire asks, "Who are you becoming?" And this is why so many couples get confused. They love each other. They trust each other. They share a home, children, responsibilities, memories, bills, routines, family duties, and daily life. But the spark grows quiet. The relationship is stable, but it no longer feels alive. They are close, but no longer curious. They are loyal, but not playful. They are together, but no longer surprised by each other. And then they ask, why has desire faded if love is still here? Today's episode is called Why Love Feels Safe, but Desire Needs Distance. Let us begin with today's situation. A woman writes, "I have been married for 11 years. My husband is a good man. He is responsible, loyal, kind, and present for our family. We have built a stable life together. But something has changed. We are close in a practical sense. We manage the house, the children, finances, relatives, work, and responsibilities. But I no longer feel the same desire. It is not that I do not love him. I do. But I do not feel curious about him anymore. I know his habits. I know his routines. I know how he reacts. I know what he will say. I know how the evening will go. We sit together, but most of the time we are on our phones. We talk, but mostly about logistics. We are comfortable, but something feels asleep. Is this normal? Does desire naturally die after marriage? Or is there a way to feel alive again with the same person? This is one of the most important questions in long-term relationships. And the answer is not simple. Desire does not always disappear because love is gone. Sometimes it fades because the relationship has become too predictable, too functional, too merged, too burdened by responsibility, and too familiar. The couple may have become excellent life managers, but poor lovers. Not because they do not care, but because they forgot that desire needs a different climate than domestic efficiency. Love grows in safety. Desire grows in aliveness. Love needs trust. Desire needs energy. Love needs reliability. Desire needs curiosity. Love needs closeness. Desire needs enough distance to make you want to cross the bridge again. Now, let us understand this more deeply. Human beings have two powerful needs. We need security, and we need freedom. We need togetherness, and we need separateness. We need belonging, and we need individuality. We need home, and we need adventure. In a long-term relationship, love often builds the home. The predictable place, the familiar person, the steady rhythm, the one who knows your routines, fears, preferences, weaknesses, and daily habits. This is beautiful. This is why people marry. This is why people commit. This is why people build families. But desire is not only about being known. Desire is also about seeing the other person as separate. Not as your furniture, not as your routine, not as your co-manager, not as the person who is always there, but as a living, changing human being with their own inner world, their own dreams, their own private thoughts, their own energy, their own mystery, their own becoming. When we collapse the other person into complete familiarity, desire can lose oxygen. Not because they are no longer attractive, but because we have stopped looking, we have stopped wondering, we have stopped noticing, we have stopped allowing them to be separate. This is why distance matters. But let us be clear. Distance does not mean emotional coldness. Distance does not mean neglect. Distance does not mean secrecy. Distance does not mean punishment. Distance does not mean playing games. Distance does not mean disappearing just to make someone chase you. Healthy distance means psychological space. Space to remain an individual. Space to grow. Space to have your own interests. Space to miss each other a little. Space to see your partner outside the role of spouse, parent, provider, caregiver, or roommate. Space to remember, this person is not simply mine. This person is alive. This person is still becoming. That kind of distance can wake desire back up. Now, why does too much closeness sometimes reduce desire? Because closeness can turn into fusion. Fusion is when two people become so merged that they stop experiencing each other as separate. They know everything. They do everything together. They predict everything. They manage everything. They stop asking real questions. They stop being curious. They stop dressing for each other. They stop playing. They stop surprising each other. They become emotionally efficient. And slowly, the partner becomes familiar in the wrong way. Not intimate, just familiar. Like the sofa, like the kitchen, like the daily schedule, like the unpaid bill, like the family calendar. This is not because love is weak. It is because the erotic imagination needs space to breathe. Desire often appears when we see our partner as someone with energy outside our control. We may feel it when they are confident in public, when they are deeply engaged in something they love, when they are laughing with others, when they are dressed differently, when they are leading, creating, speaking, dancing, teaching, working, performing, or simply fully alive in their own element. For a moment, we see them not as my husband or my wife, but as a person, a separate person, a person others can see, a person with presence, a person with vitality. And suddenly, something wakes up, not because they changed, but because our perception changed. We saw them again. Now let us talk about the difference between love and desire. Love often says, I know you. Desire says, I want to discover you. Love says, I can depend on you. Desire says, I am drawn to you. Love says, we are safe. Desire says, we are alive. Love says, you belong with me. Desire says, you are still your own person. Both are needed. A relationship with desire but no love can become unstable, exciting but unsafe, intense but unreliable, passionate but exhausting. A relationship with love but no desire can become stable but flat, safe but sleepy, committed but mechanical, comfortable but emotionally dry. The art of long-term intimacy is holding both. Security and adventure, closeness and space, commitment and mystery, friendship and attraction, home and horizon. This is not easy, but it is possible. Now, let us talk about why desire fades in marriage. Reason 1. The relationship becomes management incorporated. Many couples stop being lovers and become administrators. Who will pick up the children? Who paid the electricity bill? What time is the appointment? What did your mother say? What is for dinner? Did you call the plumber? What are we doing this weekend? Did you send the school form? Who is driving tomorrow? These things matter. Life requires management, but if the whole relationship becomes logistics, desire has nowhere to live. You cannot spend the entire day treating your partner like a staff member and then expect emotional aliveness at night. Desire does not grow well in a spreadsheet. Couples need moments where they step outside management. Not forever, just regularly. A walk without problem solving. A dinner without discussing bills. A conversation that is not about the children. A message that is not a reminder. A look that says, I still see you. Reason 2. Partners stop being curious. In the beginning, everything is discovery. What do you like? What shaped you? What makes you laugh? What are your dreams? What do you fear? What do you love? What do you think about when you are alone? Then years pass, and people assume they know each other. But the truth is, no human being is fully known. Your partner is changing. You are changing. Their thoughts are changing. Their body is changing, their fears are changing, their desires are changing, their sense of identity is changing. But if you keep relating to the version of them from 5 or 10 years ago, you are no longer meeting the person in front of you. Curiosity is desire's oxygen. Ask questions again, not interview questions, living questions. What part of you feels most alive these days? What do you miss about yourself? What have you been wanting but not saying? What makes you feel seen by me? What kind of closeness do you want more of now? What do you want our relationship to become in this next season? These questions create space, and space creates movement. Reason 3. Too much responsibility, not enough play. Long-term relationships often become heavy. Work, children, aging parents, money, health, stress, fatigue, family expectations, social obligations, body changes, career pressure. Desire struggles when life becomes only duty. Play is not childish. Play is a serious relationship skill. Play says, we are more than our responsibilities. We are still two people who can laugh. We can be light together. We can be spontaneous. We can surprise each other. We can step outside our roles. Many couples do not need more pressure to fix desire. They need more play, shared humor, music, dancing in the kitchen, a new activity, a small adventure, a different route home, a private joke, a weekend without routine, a conversation with no agenda. Play reminds the relationship that it is alive. Reason 4. Emotional resentment blocks desire. Sometimes the problem is not familiarity. It is unspoken hurt. One partner feels unseen. One feels criticized. One feels taken for granted. One feels rejected. One feels they carry too much. One feels their needs never matter. Resentment is heavy. Desire becomes difficult when the emotional room is full of unpaid debts. This is why repair matters. Not because every disagreement must be perfectly solved, but because desire needs some emotional openness. If a partner feels angry, dismissed, or chronically hurt, their body may not open easily to closeness. The relationship may need honesty before desire can return. A mature conversation may sound like, I miss feeling close to you, but I think there is unspoken resentment between us. Or, I want us to feel alive again, but we need to repair some hurt first. Desire cannot always be revived through romance alone. Sometimes it needs accountability. Reason 5. Partners stop feeling like themselves. This is very common. A husband becomes only a provider. A wife becomes only a mother. A partner becomes only a caregiver. A person becomes only a responsible adult. A woman may feel she has lost her sensual self under all the duties. A man may feel he has lost his playful self under all the pressure. The couple may love each other, but each person has lost contact with their own aliveness. And this is important. Desire is not only about how much you want your partner, it is also about how alive you feel inside yourself. If you feel exhausted, invisible, resentful, disconnected from your body, disconnected from joy, and buried under duty, desire may fade. Not because your partner is wrong, but because your own life force is low. So sometimes the path back to desire is not, how do I desire you again? Sometimes it is, how do I feel alive again? Movement, rest, creativity, friendship, music, beauty, health, private time, purpose, self-respect. A person who reconnects with their own aliveness often brings new energy back into the sane. Relationship. Reason 6. Safety becomes predictability, and predictability becomes boredom. Safety is essential. Nobody wants a relationship built on fear, but safety should not turn into emotional deadness. A safe relationship should allow both people to take small emotional risks, to speak honestly, to surprise each other, to try new things, to reveal new parts of themselves, to disagree without everything falling apart, to grow. If safety means nothing ever changes, desire may suffer. A healthy relationship is not safe because it is frozen. It is safe because it can move without breaking. Now, what can couples do? First, protect separateness. Have your own interests, your own friendships, your own growth, your own inner life, your own goals, your own quiet, your own sense of self. Do not use marriage as an excuse to stop becoming. A partner who keeps growing remains interesting, not because they become unavailable, but because they stay alive. Second, create intentional reconnection. Distance alone is not enough. If there is only distance, the relationship becomes lonely. The goal is not permanent distance. The goal is rhythm. Together. Separate. Together again. A person goes into their own world, then returns with energy. A person has private growth, then shares it. A person has space, then comes back wanting connection. This rhythm matters. Too much togetherness can suffocate. Too much distance can starve. The art is movement. Third, stop treating desire as automatic. Many couples believe desire should just happen, spontaneously, naturally, without effort. But long-term desire often needs intention, not pressure. Intention, making time, creating privacy, building emotional safety, inviting novelty, protecting rest, making room for play, having conversations that are not only practical, creating moments where the relationship is not just functioning, but feeling. In long-term love, desire is not always found. It is often cultivated. Fourth, see your partner in a new context. Go somewhere different. Watch them do something they are good at. Let them talk about something they love. Attend an event together. Travel if you can. Learn something new. Meet in a setting where you are not just husband and wife, mother and father, manager and manager. New context creates new perception, and new perception can awaken desire. Fifth, ask for what you miss without blame. Instead of saying, "You are boring now," say, "I miss feeling playful with you." Instead of, "We have no passion," say, "I want us to feel more alive together." Instead of, "You never make an effort," say, "I would love for us to create time where we are not just managing life." Instead of, "You have changed," say, "I want to know the person you are becoming." Blame shuts down desire. Invitation opens it. Sixth, repair emotional distance. If there has been hurt, do not pretend desire can bypass it. Ask, what hurt is still sitting between us? What apology has not been made? What responsibility have I avoided? What do you need to feel emotionally close again? What do I need to feel open again? This is not always easy, but many couples do not have a desire problem. They have a repair problem. Seventh, respect that desire has seasons. Desire is not meant to feel exactly the same at every stage of life. It changes with age, stress, health, parenting, grief, and transition. That does not mean it is gone. It means it needs to be met differently. Sometimes with tenderness, sometimes with novelty, sometimes with rest, sometimes with separation, sometimes with laughter, sometimes with honesty, sometimes with time. The question is not whether desire can stay frozen forever. The question is whether a couple can keep renewing the conditions that let desire live. Because desire is not the enemy of love, and love is not the enemy of desire. They are different needs, different rhythms, different languages. And when a couple learns to respect both, the relationship becomes not only safe, but alive.